Did you know that the average person spends over 2 hours a day making excuses instead of taking action? Imagine what you could accomplish if you stopped saying, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "I'm not ready yet." Now, picture a life where you meet every challenge head-on. What's holding you back? What if I told you that the ancient philosophy of Stoicism holds the key to eliminating excuses and unlocking your true potential? Today, we're diving deep into the Stoic formula for eliminating excuses and taking action, a practical, life-changing approach that has stood the test of time for over 2,000 years. Before we dive into the formula, let's take a moment to understand what Stoicism is. At its core, Stoicism is an ancient Greek philosophy that teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. It's about taking responsibility for our actions, our mindset, and ultimately, our lives. The philosophy was popularized by legendary figures like Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, Seneca, a brilliant statesman and writer, and Epictetus, a former slave turned renowned teacher. Their insights weren't just theoretical. They were intensely practical and designed to help people thrive under pressure, uncertainty, and adversity. And let's face it, excuses are a modern form of adversity we create for ourselves. So, how can Stoicism help us stop making excuses and take control of our lives? Control versus what you can't control. One of the most empowering teachings of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully when he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Here's the problem. We waste so much energy worrying about things we can't change, like what others think of us, the weather, or even bad luck. These external factors often become excuses. I can't work out because it's raining. I can't start this project because people might criticize me. But Stoicism flips the script. It asks, what can you control? Your choices, your effort, your attitude. When you focus on these, you eliminate excuses at their root. Rain becomes irrelevant because you can work out indoors. Criticism doesn't matter because your effort and growth are within your power. This mental shift transforms obstacles into opportunities, empowering you to act decisively. Let's take a moment. Think of one excuse you've made recently. Was it tied to something you couldn't control? How could you reframe it to focus on what you can control? Imagine how freeing it would feel to redirect your energy toward actionable steps rather than fruitless worry. This idea of focusing on controllable factors can be applied to every area of life. For instance, in career growth, instead of lamenting a lack of opportunities, you could work on improving your skills, networking, or learning new technologies. If your desired job seems out of reach, focus on building a strong portfolio or acquiring certifications that make you stand out. Small actions like these accumulate over time, creating new pathways forward. In relationships, instead of expecting others to change, Stoicism encourages you to focus on your own responses and contributions. If you face a disagreement with a friend, rather than dwelling on their behavior, ask yourself how you can communicate more effectively or set healthier boundaries. This proactive mindset fosters personal growth and strengthens connections. Even in everyday scenarios, this principle is transformative. Stuck in traffic? Instead of stressing about the delay, focus on what you can control, like using the time to listen to an audiobook or reflect on your day. Waiting in line. Use those moments to practice mindfulness or gratitude. These small shifts in perspective, while seemingly minor, can drastically improve your quality of life. Stoicism's dichotomy of control is more than a philosophical concept. It's a practical tool for living intentionally. By consistently choosing to focus on what lies within your power, you develop resilience, clarity, and purpose. This practice builds a stronger, more centered version of yourself, capable of navigating life's uncertainties with grace and determination. Living by your principles. Have you ever procrastinated because something felt too hard? Maybe you wanted to learn a new skill, but the idea of starting from scratch was intimidating. Seneca, one of the great Stoics, reminds us that difficulty isn't a reason to stop, it's a reason to start. Think about it. Your principles define who you are. If you value growth, courage, or integrity, then every excuse you make chips away at those values. By contrast, every time you take action, you reinforce them. Living by your principles is not about grand gestures, but the small, everyday choices that align with what you stand for. Instead of saying, "I'm too tired to study," ask, "What does living by my principles look like right now?" Instead of, "I'll fail if I try," ask, "What does courage demand of me today?" Taking action isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Small, consistent steps aligned with your values will take you further than you can imagine. Each action builds a chain of integrity that strengthens over time. Consider this. Each small action, no matter how insignificant it seems, is a vote for the person you want to become. Let's take a real-world example. Suppose you want to become a writer. Writing just 100 words a day might seem trivial, but over a year, that's over 36,000 words, a short book. And the habit of writing builds not just the product of the book, but the identity of a writer. Similarly, think about fitness. It's not about running a marathon in your first week of training. It's about showing up consistently. A 15-minute daily workout can build habits that transform your health over time. Consider the psychological shift that occurs when you show up every day. You are not just someone who works out occasionally. You are someone committed to health. Consistency doesn't just build momentum. It reshapes your identity. Every disciplined act reinforces the belief, "I am someone who takes action." This reinforcement works in all areas of life: professional growth, personal relationships, or financial stability. Each action aligned with your principles is a declaration of who you are. Let's expand this idea to relationships. If integrity is a core value, showing up for loved ones, even in small ways, is a reflection of that principle. A short call to check on a friend or a handwritten note can reinforce bonds and align with who you want to be. Finally, remember the compounding power of these small acts. Seneca emphasized that greatness comes from mastering the ordinary. When we focus on living in alignment with our principles daily, we build a foundation for extraordinary achievements. The power of premeditatio malorum. One of Stoicism's most practical tools for action is premeditatio malorum, Latin for premeditation of evils. This practice involves imagining what could go wrong before you start something. By doing this, you not only prepare for potential setbacks, but also gain the mental clarity to face them head-on. Let's say you want to launch a new business, but feel paralyzed by fear. What if it fails? What if you lose money? What if people criticize you? Here's the Stoic approach. Visualize the worst-case scenario. What if your business fails? How will you recover? What skills or lessons will you gain? This doesn't mean you dwell on failure, but that you acknowledge it as a possibility and prepare for it. Prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for that outcome. This step builds resilience, so even if the worst happens, you're ready to adapt and move forward. Ask, what can I do to minimize the risk? List proactive measures you can take to ensure the best possible outcome. By addressing your fears head-on, you strip excuses of their power. The unknown is no longer a reason to avoid action because you've already prepared for it. Instead of being paralyzed by what-ifs, you act with confidence, knowing you've anticipated and mitigated risks. Let's extend this idea to health goals. Suppose you're afraid to start a fitness journey because you worry about injuries, slow progress, or judgment from others. Instead of avoiding it, imagine what could go wrong. Maybe you pull a muscle or don't see results immediately. Now, plan solutions. Stretch before exercising, seek guidance from a trainer, and track small wins. With a clear plan, the fear becomes manageable, and excuses disappear. Plus, each small victory builds momentum, making larger goals feel attainable. In relationships, you can use premeditatio malorum to anticipate conflicts. Visualize a potential disagreement and how you might handle it gracefully. For example, think about a conversation with a difficult colleague or partner. How might they respond? What would be the most stoic, composed version of your reaction? By planning your approach, you replace impulsivity with intentionality, turning potential arguments into opportunities for understanding and growth. Premeditatio malorum isn't just about preparation, it's about empowerment. When you anticipate obstacles, you reclaim control over your narrative. Fear becomes a guide rather than a roadblock. This practice also fosters gratitude. After visualizing what could go wrong, you'll often appreciate what is going right. For example, a manager preparing for a tough presentation might imagine all the ways it could flop, only to realize how much they've practiced and prepared. Gratitude for that preparation often replaces anxiety. In daily life, try applying this to small, everyday actions. Nervous about a meeting? Plan how to handle interruptions or difficult questions. Concerned about a new project? Break it down into manageable parts and anticipate the challenges of each step. By making premeditatio malorum a habit, you'll find that fewer situations catch you off guard, and your ability to act decisively will grow stronger. Action through discipline. Build momentum. Excuses thrive in the absence of discipline. That's why the Stoics placed such a high value on consistent action. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." The secret? Start small. Momentum is your greatest ally. If you want to write a book, start with 1 sentence a day. If you want to get fit, begin with a 5-minute walk. As you build discipline, your excuses will fade because you've created a habit of action. The idea of momentum is closely tied to the concept of inertia. An object in motion stays in motion. The same applies to human behavior. By simply starting, you create the initial push needed to sustain ongoing effort. This applies to all areas of life, from health to career and personal development. Consider the idea of compound growth. Just like small savings grow into wealth over time, Small actions build significant results. A student studying 10 extra minutes daily might not see immediate results, but over months, that adds up to hours of mastery. Take another example: learning a new language. Committing to even 5 words a day might seem insignificant, but over time, those words become sentences, and sentences become fluency. The power of discipline lies in its ability to transform daunting goals into achievable milestones. It's also essential to recognize that discipline doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. Even when progress feels slow, remind yourself of the Stoic belief that consistent effort over time yields extraordinary results. As Seneca noted, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Each step forward sets the stage for the next. When motivation fades, discipline keeps you going. Create rituals that anchor your habits. For example, pair your desired action with an existing habit. Listen to educational podcasts during your morning commute or stretch while waiting for your coffee to brew. These small integrations create a seamless transition into disciplined action. Lastly, reward your persistence. Celebrate small wins to reinforce positive behaviors. Did you meet your daily goal of writing 100 words? Acknowledge it. Completing even modest goals builds confidence and strengthens your resolve to keep moving forward. Let's look at a few real-life examples where Stoic principles helped eliminate excuses. Marcus Aurelius and leadership. Despite leading during a time of war and plague, Marcus Aurelius didn't let circumstances excuse inaction. He focused on what he could control: his leadership, decisions, and ability to inspire others. His meditations provide countless insights into how he reframed challenges into opportunities for personal growth and moral excellence. For example, he often wrote about how even difficult people served as training grounds for patience and understanding, showcasing his commitment to turning adversity into action. Epictetus and adversity. Born into slavery, Epictetus could have made excuses for not pursuing wisdom. Instead, he chose to focus on learning, teaching, and transforming lives. His discourses often emphasize the idea that external circumstances cannot dictate our inner freedom. A famous example includes his analogy of a banquet. If you focus on what's being served to others, you'll miss enjoying your own meal. This simple metaphor highlights his broader philosophy of embracing what you have and making the most of it. Modern entrepreneurs. Today, countless entrepreneurs draw on Stoic principles to navigate uncertainty, take risks, and build successful ventures. Consider Elon Musk's approach to business challenges. By focusing on what's within his control, innovation, persistence, and calculated risks, he has redefined multiple industries. Another example is Oprah Winfrey, who overcame significant hardships by focusing on her inner resilience and continuously working toward personal and professional excellence. Her journey mirrors the Stoic principle of perseverance through focus and effort. Athletes and pressure. On a personal level, think of athletes like Simone Biles, who navigate immense pressure by focusing on what they can control: their preparation, mindset, and execution. Tom Brady, another example, embodies the Stoic focus on discipline and consistency. His rigorous preparation, mental fortitude, and ability to stay calm under pressure make him a modern embodiment of Stoic resilience. Everyday heroes. Beyond historical figures and celebrities, consider everyday people who practice Stoicism. A single parent managing work and family with grace, focusing on what they can do each day rather than lamenting what they can't. Or a teacher, adapting to the challenges of remote education, who embodies Stoic patience and adaptability. These examples remind us that Stoicism is not limited to grand gestures, but thrives in the small, deliberate actions of ordinary life. Let's make this practical. Here are several Stoic exercises to help you eliminate excuses and take action. The evening reflection. Every night, ask yourself, what excuses did I make today? What could I have done differently? Write it down and commit to improving tomorrow. The morning pep talk. Start your day by visualizing the challenges ahead and how you'll overcome them. Remind yourself of your principles and what's within your control. The 1-minute rule. If something takes less than a minute to do, whether it's sending an email or tidying up, do it immediately. This builds a bias for action. Fear-setting exercise. Write down your biggest fears about a task or goal. Then, outline ways to mitigate those risks and how you'd recover if the worst happened. Harnessing the present moment. Excuses often live in the future. I'll do it later. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This quote urges us to act now, not later. What small step can you take today that aligns with your purpose? Community and accountability. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals can keep you on track. The Stoics often wrote letters and shared their thoughts with others to stay grounded. Find an accountability partner or community where you can share your progress and challenges. Journaling as a tool. Journaling was a daily practice for Marcus Aurelius. Use it to reflect on your excuses, victories, and lessons. Ask yourself, what would a Stoic do in my situation? This simple habit can provide clarity and reinforce action. Applying Stoicism in modern contexts. Whether you're navigating career challenges, relationships, or personal goals, Stoicism offers a roadmap. For example, in the workplace, instead of blaming colleagues or external factors, focus on how you can improve your skills and responses. In relationships, let go of trying to control others and focus on your actions and communication. Excuses are easy, but they rob you of your potential. Stoicism teaches us that every moment is an opportunity to act, to grow, and to live in alignment with our true selves. So, here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, eliminate one excuse each day. Replace it with action. Watch how your mindset transforms. If this video inspired you, hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how ancient wisdom can transform your modern life. Until next time, remember, the only limits are the ones you place on yourself. Let's take action together.